Welcome to our channel and to our first video. We hope to earn your subscription and look forward to answering your comments and questions. We are Stephen and Lauren, and we've been shooting for, well, a long time. I started reloading when I was 15 as part of learning how to shoot and hunt. My father taught me to build things myself, even if they weren't perfect, that they could be perfect for me. And he also taught me that knowing how to do is more important to a free man than being able to pay someone else to do it for me.
I was raised without guns or the mindset of self-reliance and didn't start shooting till I was 45, and then only pistols. I got my first rifle at 57, so I'm very new to reloading, but I love every aspect of it. As I learned, I found my husband's way of explaining the materials and methods of reloading to be more thorough, practical, and digestible than existing channels online. So we decided to create real-world reloading and start our channel off with basic information for the new reloader. In our first series, The 7 Steps of Reloading, we'll start with the basics and move through our process, providing a way of thinking which will help viewers answer their own questions and needs. After this series, we will do other videos about shooting on the range and most any other subject that goes well with the shooting community. We'll have some informational videos, how-tos, some best practice and equipment evaluation and comparison videos, and we'll keep it fun with a dose of humor along the way. Expect that your process will vary from ours, and that's a good thing. Every reloader has a different goal in mind, often different goals for different calibers. It just makes sense that there should be a large variation on how people reload. There's 100 ways to do each step, and countless steps to add as your expectations grow. In today's video, we'll cover the basics broadly and introduce some of the foundational considerations which will ultimately shape the process you end up with on your own bench.
In the 7 Steps episodes, we'll explore each step in detail. Stay tuned until the end of the series and look for a bonus video where we'll talk about component selection, best practices, special use cases, and so forth. We're going to employ single-stage presses in this series to better communicate all the details of what goes into loading. The concepts learned in a single-stage methodology translate easily to progressive presses, which we'll cover in a different series. Let's start with a word about storage and handling of your components. You should avoid touching and over-handling primers. Primers are quite stable, but we want to ensure that we don't get skin oil on them or risk them absorbing moisture. Both will degrade the primer performance and potentially lead to big problems. Same with powder, but maybe even more so. A small change in powder moisture level, which can happen rather easily, can drastically alter the burn characteristics, leading to problems or even danger. So store your primers and powder in a cool, dry place, like it says on the packaging. And don't subject them to wild temperature and moisture swings. We keep primers in a descanted 40mm ammo can and then pull them into a ready box, which is a 30 cal can, so we can have a limited volume of primers at risk at any one time. We prefer to have a mix of 1-pound cans and 8-pound kegs of powder on hand and match them to the volume of shooting we'll be doing. We get 1,400 rounds of 9mm from a pound of powder, so we buy that flavor in 1-pound cans. We get less than 100 rounds of 300 PRC from a pound, so we buy that in 8-pound kegs. Write the date you opened the can on the lid and document how long it's been unsealed. Avoid using long-stored, unsealed powders. Next, we need to set up your loading area for success. Do yourself a favor. Do not reload in a carpeted room if you can avoid it. Choose hardwood floors, laminate, tile, or cement. We like cement. Cleans up easy and doesn't cause static. Trust us, static is bad when handling powder and primers. You'll want to do your reloading in a temperature-controlled environment. Not too hot nor frigid, not staticky or too dry nor too damp. You should be comfortable while reloading, and your cartridges should be too. Bullets have feelings, you know. Build a strong bench. Something solid, something that won't move, that you can bolt equipment to. Build it yourself or buy it made and bolt it down, but make it stable. Reloading presses develop a lot of force, and things bouncing around often don't produce good results. Make it solid, sturdy. You'll never regret it. Now, how about a good way to organize your loading process? Consider your limits when planning to load. Don't do too much in one sitting. You'll get fatigued and lose focus. Stay sharp. We plan our reloading sessions in batches and keep batch size small enough to avoid tiring. It's a good habit to do all your brass prep so that you have everything ready to load and can focus on just loading. For instance, we keep our precision cartridges in range boxes of 100 and shoot until that box is empty. We then process the entire 100 as a batch. Other reasons to batch process include, should one case fail in a batch, we know the others in that batch are ready for discard too. It also avoids mixing 3 times fired cases with 5 times fired cases. You'll see what we're talking about when you watch each episode. Brass prep takes a lot of time, but as you actually perform the steps, once you become familiar with them, doesn't require a lot of brain power. Assembling components, however, demands focus and attention to detail for the entire process. No interruptions. We talk and joke around while we're doing brass prep, but get serious when loading rounds. We break things up by these steps because if something does go funky, we can easily handle it without drama. No heroics. Back up, fix the issue, and get back to work without causing a safety risk. Now, on to equipment. Can you just buy a beginner kit and get to reloading? Well, sort of. But we haven't seen a truly comprehensive kit, so pay attention to the details. We recommend purchasing a quality beam scale. RCBS, Dillon, Hornady, everyone makes one. They are completely reliable if handled delicately. They're not too expensive and are close to error-free. Buy calipers that provide half-thousandth resolution. Dies. You'll need good quality dies. We have RCBS, Dillon, and Hornady equipment dating back to the early 80s. We still use them, and they're still going strong. Of course, you'll need a press. Many people first choose a press and then stick with that manufacturer for other equipment as well. That can be beneficial because that manufacturer's toys all play well together. We'll go into better detail in each episode regarding equipment. Now let's have a brief run-through of the 7 steps, starting with documentation of case prep. We use painter's tape to make check boxes, and we label those boxes first clean, annealing, sizing, second clean, trim, and ready to load. Step number 1. Initial case cleaning begins with decapping and case inspections for gross abnormalities. Cleaning can be done in any kind of tumbler. It just needs to be clean enough for annealing and sizing. Step 2. Annealing. We process in batches and accumulate them until there are enough to make setting up the annealer worthwhile. Usually an empty 30 cal can for general range use or 100 in a box for precision ammo. Step 3. Resizing. We use the rock chucker here again. We verify our resizing quality by checking the first few through the die with both a case gauge and a comparator to ensure our dies are set correctly. Then we go into a second clean to knock the lubricant off and bring our cases up to a high luster. Step 4 is trimming. This includes cleaning out the primer pockets and removing any primer crimp if present. We set labeled batches aside after trimming and wait until we amass enough to warrant loading. Steps 5, 6, and 7 are done in one flow. Step 5 is priming. We use the RCBS hand priming tool for its simplicity and tactile feedback, and inspect seated primers using loading blocks looking for uniform primer depth and anything out of the ordinary. Step 6 is charging. For our Bulk 223, safety is our number one concern. Accuracy is a distant second. Our powder and charge weight are chosen such that a 0.2 grain total variation would not be noticeable during use. For this, we use an old-school volumetric powder dropper, primarily because it's fast and easy. For our precision rounds, We use the RCBS ChargeMaster link and verify every 10th charge with a beam scale just to ensure the dispenser hasn't drifted. So far, it hasn't disappointed us if we let it warm up according to manufacturer's directions. Step 7 is seating. We chose the RCBS Summit Press for seating because it gives us uniform seating depth, low run-out variation, and we love the ergonomics of its open-faced design. The short handle on this press also provides excellent tactile feedback. This press is dedicated to seating. Well, that's our process in as short a list as we can make it. Now, a few final thoughts to press home. Remember to inspect. Inspect at every step, looking for reasons to discard cases. Don't fall into the attitude of save every case. That can be a dangerous habit indeed. Make record keeping part of your process from the start. Label each batch with caliber, bullet, powder, and charge weight, case overall length or CBTO, and the number of times that brass has been loaded. Also, the date that it was loaded. Track the number of times each batch has been fired, and when you do see a case failure, discard the entire batch. Brass is a consumable commodity. That wraps up this bird's eye level overview of reloading. Keep in mind, this is just what we have chosen for our reloading needs. Your needs will vary, and if you stick through the whole series here, you'll have all the knowledge you'll need to make informed decisions about your reloading needs. We hope to earn your support, so hit subscribe, ring the bell, and be happy. Drop a comment, let us know what you are most interested in learning about reloading, and we'll see if we can work that in. So jump right in with our first in this series, 7 Steps of Reloading, Episode 1, Case Cleaning. Thanks for watching.